I live my life like a top fuel dragster. Always trying to go 350 mile an hour. But every once in a while, I will break and need rebuilt.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode is brought to you by R&R Pipeline, an infrastructure company. Our purpose? Enhancing America's infrastructure with a safety-driven, integrity-led culture that provides an environment for team members to grow and thrive. Top Fuel 5. So, I know a lot of people that overthink about things in a negative light. Worst case scenario, what's the bad thing that could happen? What is the bad outcome that could happen? And instead of just focusing on the controllable with this thing, the negative thought compounds what could possibly happen that was bad. And maybe it happens or maybe it doesn't. But what would happen if you overthought something or your thought was drastically positive? So overthink the positive outcome instead of the negative outcome. And what happened would be the possibilities of that outcome change drastically because you not only think about the good side of it, but you start to manifest this bigger vision. It starts to compound and things start to progress in a positive light. So whenever you don't overthink a negative outcome, you're thinking about positivity, and that's the direction that you head. And when you constantly think about negativity, more than likely the outcome is going to be negative, whether it's good or bad. If it's good, you might just think, well, I'm glad it wasn't the worst, but it still wasn't a good outcome to you because your mindset was not in a positive light. And as a core value of R&R Pipeline and of mine personally, positivity, we have a can-do attitude to resolve issues. When you have an issue, what are you seeing as the outcome? In nature, we are not designed to understand positivity. It is something that we have to force ourselves to think of. By nature, we are survival creatures. Our brains work on survival. So if you take this negative thought and stop and be present for a moment and twist it into a positive thought, and instead of, I got to go to this place today. I could get in a car crash, or I could have this happen, or I could have that happen. Why don't you just think, I'm going to go to this place today with this opportunity to meet these people, and that opportunity could lead to these multiple business deals or this huge network arrangement that I'm making for myself, and understand that the positivity will lead to good things happening. If you're constantly negative, if you're constantly looking down, looking at the bad side of what could happen, more than likely your outcomes are not going to be good. More than likely, you're going to overthink a negative outcome and have a negative outcome. But if you switch that mindset to a positive outcome and you make yourself think about the great things that could happen, then more than likely that outcome at worst is going to be good. Keep the mindset of positivity at all times and watch how your life starts to change. The outcome does change. The positivity side of it will take over. You will see a better outcome because your mind is already presenting itself with the outcome being seen and done in a positive light. If you go into a lift, whenever I go to bench press over 400 pounds and I get down under that bar, there is never a time in my mind where I think, man, I'm just not going to get this. It just ain't my day today. That might not end up being my day, but I'll be damned if I'm going to get under that bar of over 400 pounds thinking that I can't get it. If I think I can't get it, I'm not getting under it. There's been times where I knew it might not be my day, but I'd never go under it thinking that I'm not going to make that shot. I'm not going to push that press. I'm going to shoot and think it's going to go in. And though it doesn't, in my mind, it will. So just try overthinking positive scenarios and see what happens. It's a subtle shift in mindset, but it could transform the way all your outcomes end up happening to you and what you perceive of them. Top Fuel 5, positivity. Keep your mind right, and the outcome will follow.